Hey yo, keep scrolling or stop long enough to find out what keeps you plugged in. The system doesn't only manufacture what people value, it destroys their ability to recognize value in anything it didn't manufacture. And that is programming my home skillets. It floods their minds with spectacle, gossip, conflict, tragedy, artificial reality, and disposable bullshit. Then it breaks their attention down into seconds and keeps them chasing the next reaction, the next dopamine hit. Doom scrolling one thing after another like a digital crackhead chasing the next fix. The same faces, the same manufactured conflicts, the same empty spectacle watched, copied, parroted, and spread until the repetition programs them. You've seen it everywhere. You know the name. Millions watched. Somebody got rich. Must be worth something, right? Bullshit. None of that proves value. It proves the system knows how to keep you plugged in, watching it, creating it, feeding it, becoming it, until the repetition puts you in a trance. After a while, nobody has to tell you what to value. They already taught you how to measure it. Then you start applying that measurement to everything around you, and eventually, to yourself. Money becomes worth, visibility becomes importance, popularity becomes truth, imitation becomes creation. This is how value is fixed. The system decides what matters, installs the measurement inside your dome, and then gets you to enforce it like an obedient machine. But value isn't fixed by what you say you believe. What you truly value is demonstrated by what you act upon, because action is belief made visible. Your mouth can say one thing while your life says amen to something else. The counterfeit doesn't have to convince you that it's real. It only has to stay in front of you long enough for the real thing to stop looking familiar. Meanwhile, something real can consume a human being mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually before anyone sees a single finished second of it. People see the result. They don't see what it took to imagine it, to make the connections, to pull something out of the invisible and give it form. To build that shit, destroy it, rebuild it, and drag it into existence. They don't see the failed attempts, the hours that disappeared, the doubt, the sacrifice, the piece of a human soul buried inside the finished work. Then the real thing finally appears, without spectacle, without fanfare, and they don't even recognize it. Put knowledge right in front of them and watch their thumb slide straight past it. Give them wisdom, and there's no hunger for it. Tell them the truth, and they couldn't care less. Something that should stop them dead in their tracks appears, and they just keep scrolling. The system hasn't only flooded the world with garbage, it has damaged the part of people that could tell the difference. That is the real victory. Not that the counterfeit was accepted as real, but that the real became almost impossible to recognize. Once that happens, the system can sell you almost anything. Not only entertainment, not only products, but meaning, identity, rebellion, awakening, even the illusion of escape. Eyes open, fingers moving, soul asleep. And this isn't just distraction. Distraction sounds temporary. This is occupation. This is war. The mind is never allowed to become still. Every empty space has to be filled. Every silence interrupted. Every uncomfortable thought buried beneath another image, another opinion, another outrage, another manufactured emergency. The system doesn't have to silence the truth if it can destroy your ability to sit still long enough to hear it. It doesn't have to hide everything real. It can bury it beneath endless imitations, pieces of truth, manufactured meaning, artificial creation, spiritual language, an endless supply of things that almost lead somewhere. A head full of information and still no closer to the truth. And information may be the most convincing trap of all, because information feels like movement. You learn the language, you recognize the manipulation, you see the propaganda, you identify the programming. You discover who profits, who controls it, who lied, and how the lie was installed. Now you know. Feel free yet? But knowing where the bars came from doesn't mean you're no longer behind them. A person can spend their entire life exposing the machine and never confront what the machine found inside of them to exploit. The hunger to be seen, the desire to possess, the appetite for power, the need to be right, the urge to worship anything that reflects the self back to itself. The system didn't create human corruption, it industrialized it, it studied it, amplified it, packaged it, and learned how to feed it back to us without end. Remove one counterfeit and the old nature builds another. Intellect becomes a throne, identity becomes a god, rebellion becomes religion, and the self becomes the final authority. Call it freedom, call it awakening, call it anti-programming. The old nature doesn't give a damn what you call it. It will wear the uniform of the rebel just as easily as it wears the uniform of the obedient. That is where the accusation turns, because the prison isn't only around us, the prison is also in us. A person can recognize the prison and remain inside it. They can understand the programming, reject the system, and expose the counterfeit, and still remain enslaved to the same nature that built the cage. Anti-programming can expose the cage, and information can reveal the bondage, but neither can set you free or create a new man. Human nature cannot liberate itself because information is not freedom, recognition is not resurrection, and the old man cannot repair himself. The system doesn't care which counterfeit you choose as long as you never come to the truth. Signal out.